Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Zeeland, Michigan. My name is Luke Bauman.
And I'm Ashley Swansea, and we're with the Luke Bauman Real Estate Team.
If you're considering buying or selling real estate in the West Michigan area, we'd love to help you out. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Zeeland, Michigan. So Ashley, I know you live in Zeeland, I live in Zeeland myself, but you've been, lived there your whole life. So I'd love to hear, some of the pros that you see from living in Zeeland, and I'll go more into maybe the cons of, living in Zeeland, and we can kind of talk a little bit about that. But share with us maybe one of the pros that you see of living in Zeeland.
So for me, I think one of our main decision factors in settling down in Zeeland was their school district. They have top tier school systems, their sporting teams are fantastic, their teachers are just great with the educational programs, as well as just the community around what they do.
Yeah, and they have really good private schools and public schools. Now, I know we have a lot of clients who move into Zeeland specifically because they hear about the school and school district. But one thing that I wonder, because the schools are so big, there's like 6,000 kids between the two schools. I believe in 2005, they shifted from one Zeeland school to now a Zeeland East and Zeeland West. Do you feel, because you were a student there, do you feel like you get lost at all with how many students there are? Is that maybe a con if you have a kid going to school there?
No, my experience is actually quite the opposite. I felt like it was very small town. I was friends with people from both Zeeland East and Zeeland West, which is still great in my adult relationships. I just think that they have designed it well where you have classes both at Zeeland East and Zeeland West, so you guys get to commingle with both schools, but at the end of the day, you've got your core group and it just feels very, connected in small town.
Perfect. So Ashley, one thing that I know our clients like when they live in Zeeland is the convenience of the location of Zeeland. Talk a little bit more about maybe the convenience for you and what you see your clients kind of moving there for a reason.
Yeah, I find Zeeland to be just a little bit more centrally located to most of West Michigan's communities. For my instance, where I'm located, I'm 10 minutes to the lake shore, to the beaches, to the marinas. I am 15 minutes to Saugatuck to hit a cool little coastal town in the summer. I can zip on the highway. I'm in Grand Rapids in the next 20 to 25 minutes. So it just seems very centrally located. It's not a big deal to go east, west, north, or south from where we're at.
I agree with that. We actually moved to Zeeland. My wife was in Grand Rapids. I worked in Holland. It was like the perfect spot where she could hop on the highway and go. But I would also maybe argue, like if you blink, you might, it's such a small town that you might end up missing it. Do you feel like maybe you're missing out on some things because it's not a bigger city?
No, I think if you want to immerse yourself in the community, Zeeland is really good at that. They've got tons of events downtown to feel like you're a part of their community. I think it's as much as you want to make of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think maybe a con then is, if you're out to be in a big city and party and do all that, Zeeland isn't necessarily the town for the big parties. I mean, they have a couple bars downtown. They have Vitale's Pizza.
Yeah. We're trying.
But as far as the nightlife, you're probably gonna have to go to Grand Rapids for something like that, which I see, for most people it's not a big deal, but maybe if you're just out of college and you're like, hey, I wanna go and meet a whole bunch of people, living specifically in Zeeland might be for that, but the convenience factor probably plays a role in that.
Yeah, it's definitely not your most urban setting. You're gonna be a little bit more rural, a little bit more removed, maybe better for first families getting started, that sort of thing. Versus Grand Rapids is going to definitely give you your more 20s vibe.
Right, yeah.
So for me, Luke, another huge benefit that Zeeland offers is their community. I just always describe it as very tight-knit. It's a close community. I have so many friends that are still in the area, even if we went away for college further away or out of state, we've all kind of come back. I've got lifelong friends from high school that I still interact with, frequently. And I just think that speaks volumes to what Zeeland offers as far as when kids or, my friends can all go away, but we end up coming back and settling down again.
And I would say you talked a little bit about the activity stuff, The town down is great. They have really all the things you're looking for. It's not real big, but they have a couple restaurants and coffee shops. They have the salons and bookstore. My kids love the toy store.
Yeah.
Obviously, the world famous bakery that's down there. So, like, everything that you're kind of looking for in a small town is here.
Yes.
And then, you know, they also have a lot of events. You know, like they have the parades, and they have certain nights where you can go out and just hang out downtown.
Yep.
Maybe the thing that's maybe a negative is there's not like a really big like activity that you can do. It's, you know, it's like not like every night you can go out and do something here.
Yes.
As easily, but you know, there's things that are close, but we don't have like the big sports team. I mean, you have to go to, you know, Lansing for Michigan State or Ann Arbor for U of M or Detroit or whatever it might be. Maybe Grand Rapids is decently close with Whitecaps and the Griffins, but as far as like the every night, we need to just have something to do. Zeeland's probably not like the best place for that, but we're conveniently located. But I think, you know, what Zeeland has done is they've also made like a really good recreation department.
Yes.
Have you done any rec sports?
I've taken several of their like exercise classes or fitness classes, but they actually also offer some baking and cooking classes that I've done. I wouldn't say anything consistently, but yeah, I think what they offer is super fun. I've gotten my kids involved with some of the rec sports, soccer, some toddler stuff for my littles, and yeah,
they're very passionate about the rec sports program. So there's always stuff you can be involved in. There's a lot of pickleball courts now in Zeeland. They do, you know, rec sports with pickleball and basketball and soccer. Really, all the main sports, and then a few other like kickball. They do kickball leagues. So
yeah, and they've got, I mean, just awesome parks too, as far as Huizinga Park for kids. You know, big jungle gyms, that sort of stuff as well. Just very family oriented.
Yep.
That I love. So Luke, I would argue one last, you know, really good pro that Zeeland offers is their hospital. I know that's a concern for a lot of either families or elderly people if they're moving into the area that they might have to travel a long distance to get good care. And Zeeland actually has a fantastic hospital right in town.
Yeah, it is. It's very well, very known, lots of
top-notch.
Awards and stuff. And then if you need to get maybe something a little more serious, you're a close drive to Grand Rapids as well. So those are really, you know, the pros and cons. As you can see, Zeeland really is a great place to live. We both live there now. Ashley's been there, you know, her whole life basically.
Do the math.
There's a few cons, you know, we touched on. You know, it's not maybe the place to just meet tons of people and go out and party and do some of those things, but a really tight-knit community, and if you have any questions about the community, don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, that is what we have as far as Zeeland's pros and cons go. If you guys would like to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube page, just click the button below.